call the meeting to order. Is that what you say? I don't know. I'm going to ask for a little grace here since this is my first time in this seat. So if I do things out of order, Josh can tell me. Let's see. I moved to return to open session.
So moved.
Skirth?
Yes.
Eleanor, reverse your. Mrs. Oxon?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes. Oh, well, let's say the pledge first. Woo.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we start, I want to acknowledge the picture behind us and on our screens. That's Lexi and I with TJ Huzman-Zada.
Okay.
That was very exciting for us. Yes.
It was very exciting.
So, and we want to wish the Bengals all the best in their upcoming game.
That's
And
right.
sorry Josh could not be there.
I am too.
He had other commitments that day, but it was very exciting. Okay, let's see. Okay, move to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Skirth?
Yes.
Mrs. Oxon?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes. Okay, presentations and recognitions, Ohio Township Day. That is,
Yes. February 1st, the Ohio Township Association encourages all of Ohio's 1,308 townships to recognize Township Day. Not everyone knows what a township is or what the functions are, and it's, we're your local government. We're the ones that are closest to the people, that we're right outside your front door, repairing your streets and your sidewalks and making sure that when your neighbor wants to put up a fence, it's within zoning regulations, and providing, obviously, safety services, police and fire, snow plowing, those types of services. And we're very proud of what we do. We have a wonderful elected body here, and I am proud to say that Mr. Girth is actually on the Ohio Township Association Executive Board, and Mrs. Stone is actually on the Executive Committee for the Coalition of Large Ohio Urban Townships. So we do have representation at the state level. All of our trustees actually are involved at the state level as far as lobbying for legislation that makes us more effective and efficient and gives us the legislative authority that we need. So we ask that everybody just, celebrate Ohio Township Day. We make an effort to educate students on the values and the benefits of local government careers. We have a History to Schools program where we teach them about that. We have Shadow Day for local high school students because we could always, use additional employees to look to the future to make sure that local government remains strong. So, thank you.
okay, thank you. Okay, now public forum. Individuals who wish to address the board, anybody can come forward. Anybody want to address the board? Okay. Okay, trustee comments. Josh?
I have no comments.
Lexi?
I don't really have any comments either.
Well, I will just do a brief comment. We had our Senior Center Advisory Committee, and I am the trustee liaison on that. So we had a meeting today. Just wanted to, our senior center, our seniors love our senior center. We were closed 2 days this month because the water pipes broke during that big storm. So we were closed a couple extra days, and the seniors, and I want to thank Mark Magna publicly for getting that back open as quickly as we did, because they were very anxious to get back in there. And we found out today our senior center served almost 8,000 meals last year, and we have an average of 61 people attending every day, and now we're also offering a bi-monthly breakfast. So we got a lot of things going on over there. So anybody that's interested in joining our senior center, come on by. You have to
That's
all you have
awesome.
to do is be over 50. So, okay, let's see. Ken, fiscal officer.
Yes. Financial reports are in your packet. Revenues came out almost within 1% of what we had estimated them to be. The expenditures are well below what we had budgeted, but there are so many projects that are still pending. We do have encumbrances of over $8 million, so that puts us pretty close. But we'll carry some of those expenditures over into 2023, and we have a lot of projects that we still have to complete. So looking pretty good. We have no appropriation changes. Fortunately, it's the first month of the year, but we have a resolution before you authorizing fiscal officer to prepare blanket certificates in the amount not to exceed $10,000 each against any specific line item account as permitted by the Ohio Auditor of State of Ohio. So I need your approval on that.
Okay. I move to adopt the resolution to authorize the fiscal officer to prepare blanket certificates in an amount not to exceed $10,000 each against any specific line item account as permitted by the Auditor of the State of Ohio.
Second.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
And we have several minutes to approve.
Yeah, let's do the ones where everybody was here.
Okay.
It's just a mass thing, and then we'll pull out the other two.
Very smart.
Okay. I'll move to adopt the minutes from September 27th, October 6th, October 20th, November 17th, December 1st, and January of 2022, and January 5th of 2023.
Second.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
And the other two?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 15th, 2022.
Second.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mrs. Austin?
I'll refrain from voting. I wasn't present.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes. And then I
And then-
make,
okay.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
move to approve the meeting minutes from November 3rd, 2022.
Second.
Mr. Garth?
Abstain.
Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Margaret.
I have no report.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Margaret.
And let's see, Lieutenant McElroy? Oh, yeah, we got a liquor license.
It's
Yeah.
McElroy. No A in McElroy.
McElroy, okay, Nick.
Close
Mac.
enough. It's all good.
I always call you Lieutenant Dan. That's why.
That might be why. Before you is a liquor license request for Yummy Bowl. Will be a new business going into 7578 Beachmont Avenue. It's in the Kroger complex there. I was able to contact the owner and the manager. It's going to be a typical restaurant, kind of like a Chipotle, except Chinese. So we have, it's for a D1 and a D2 license, and I have no reservations.
Thank you. I move not to object to the new liquor license request for Yummy Bowl 3 Incorporated, doing business as Yummy Bowl, located at 7578 Beachmont Avenue, Suite EC.
Second.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes,
They're supposed to open late February.
Thank you.
Nice, thank you.
Sounds yummy.
thank you. Okay, moving on, let's see. Public Works, Mark, you're filling in for Eric?
We have a motion to certify the 2022 annual road mileage. We are required by section 4501.04 of the Ohio Revised Code to submit a copy of our road inventory to the Hamilton County Engineer's Office on an annual basis. The report must contain a mileage verification along with a condition report of our entire inventory. Last year we had 121.525 miles of township roads. In 2022 we added onto 3 existing subdivision roads. Coldstream Club Drive increased mileage by .097, Forest Edge Drive increased by .044, and Staggs Run increased by .156. Also, Dunn Road was previously maintained by Hamilton County. Anderson Township took over the maintenance in 2019, but this was not added onto our list until this past year, increased by .230. Thus, the total township mileage is 122.052 miles as of 12/31/22. The documentation is attached, and a motion appears below for your consideration.
I move to certify the 2022 annual road mileage as submitted by the Ohio Department of Transportation and the Hamilton County Engineers Office and is kept on file in the Township Public Works Department and Fiscal Office.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Chief Martin?
Good evening.
Hi.
The fire department only has one item this evening, and that is a motion for your consideration, giving the fire department permission to apply for a grant with the Ohio BWC Safety Grant. It's a matching funds grant. If we were to receive the grant, we would pay 25%, BWC would pay 75%. And if we were successful in getting the grant, we would come before you seeking permission to accept the grant. So that motion is before you tonight. Our maximum expense would be $11,500 for our share.
Thanks, Rick. I move to authorize the Anderson Township Fire and Rescue Department's application for an Ohio BWC safety grant for which the Anderson Township Fire and Rescue Department's 25% matching funds would not exceed $11,500 for the purpose of purchasing equipment during the 2023 award period.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes. Hey, real quick, Rick, when are your CPR classes? Aren't we doing CPR classes?
We are. They're not happening every week because they don't have them, or every other week because they don't have the class, so people don't sign up. So it's best for people to call or send an email, and we can try and group the people together. But it's typically on Saturdays.
Okay, because I know there's a lot of interest out there right now in CPR, especially after what happened at the
Yes.
Bengals game. So it just, if people are
Yes.
interested.
And it's a blended class, so you can do your piece online.
You can do most of it online, and then we have that class where you only come in and do the hands-on. So it's
Awesome.
not the all-day Saturday that I think some people have heard about, which is a little laborious and takes up your whole Saturday. You can get it done at home, and when it's convenient, come in and knock it out.
And are you certified then?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay,
Same
great.
Yeah, you do
certification.
the online piece, then you get checked off with them.
Okay,
It's
good.
awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see. Vicki?
Yes, good evening. If Mr. Magna would come back up, he has the first two items on the agenda.
Now your other hat.
Pardon?
Your other hat.
Now my real hat.
Yeah, your real hat.
I'm just subbing for the other guy. The first one is a motion to award the Hamilton Little Miami Scenic Trail Extension to Elston Phase 1. On January 11th, the Administration Department opened bids for the Hamilton Little Miami Scenic Trail Extension to Elston Phase 1. The bid results are attached. The published estimate for the work was $305,000, and the recommended bid totals $220,660.88. The department reviewed the bid for content and completeness to establish the best and lowest responsive bidder. Based on this analysis, I recommend award of the project to Trustees Construction in the amount of $220,660.88. Furthermore, a 10% contingency of $22,066 is recommended to cover unforeseen conditions outside the scope of the original work. As a reminder, Metro will be paying 90% of the construction cost, as the township was awarded a 2021 SORTA Transit Infrastructure Grant for this work. The 1994 TIF funds exist on the purchase order from 2012, which will cover the township cost of the project, estimated to be around $24,230. If you have any questions, I can answer most of them. You need a motion
I
for
move that this
consideration.
board hereby accepts the bid of $220,660.88 from Trustees Construction Company, deemed to be the best and lowest responsive bidder for the HAM LMST extension to Elston Phase 1 project in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $242,726.88, 90% of which is funded through SORTA Transit Infrastructure Fund Grant, and no more than $50,000 in township funds currently secured in purchase order using 1994 TIF funds. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs the township administrator to give timely notice of award to the contractor and, after consultation with the law director, to enter into a contract with Priest Construction in accordance with their bid for the Hamilton Little Miami something trail extension
Scenic
to Hailston Phase 1 project.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes. Now I know why Dee's annoyed.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes,
Great job.
sometimes they're long. Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is a motion to award the Rambling Hill Sidewalk. On January 11th, the Administration Department opened bids for the Rambling Hill Sidewalk project, attached to the bid results. The published estimate for the work was $350,000, and the recommended bid totals $222,139.71. The department reviewed the bid for content and completeness and adjusted the bid total to indicate the correct sum to establish the best and lowest responsive bidder. Based on this analysis, I recommend the award of the project to Rack and Bollier Excavating Company, Inc., in the amount of $222,139.71. Furthermore, a 10% contingency of $22,214 is recommended to cover unforeseen conditions outside the scope of the original work. 1994 TIF funds exist in a purchase order from 2022, which will cover the cost of the projects. And there's a motion for your consideration.
I move that this board hereby accepts the bid of $223,139.71 from Rack and Ballerer Excavating Company, Incorporated, deemed to be the best and lowest responsible and responsive bidder for the Rambling Hills Sidewalk project, in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $244,353.71 from funds currently secured in purchase orders using 1994 CHIP funds. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs the township administrator to give timely notice of award to the contractor and, after consultation with the law director, to enter into contract with Rack and Ballerer Excavating Company, Incorporated, in accordance with their bid for the Rambling Hills Sidewalk project.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes,
Thank you.
okay.
So interesting that these are both almost 30% lower than the estimate.
Well, if you look at some of the bids, some actually exceeded the estimate.
Uh-huh.
So
that's
there was
a
it was
huge variance.
there was a wide range of bids.
Yeah.
So you don't like to overestimate, but you don't want to underestimate, because we'll be back here in 2 months doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, who's next on this? Is that you?
I
Back to
am
you?
up next, yes. The board has before it a resolution that it would accepting the transfer of a portion of Hillcrest Cemetery, which is located on Sutton Road. The resolution covers the portion of the cemetery that's located in Anderson Township. A section of it, approximately 3 or 4 acres, is in the city of Cincinnati, and we will not be addressing that this evening. But the Hillcrest Cemetery was founded in 1926. It was originally a for-profit cemetery, and it actually became a situation where Hamilton County purchased plots in the cemetery for veterans who were denied burial in other county cemeteries because of their race. They were African Americans. So there are approximately 1,000 African American veterans buried there, from Civil War, Spanish American War, all the way up through Vietnam. And we also have a situation where there are civilians buried there as well. A lot of the graves are unmarked, and the cemetery continued to fall into disrepair when the original owners passed away. The ownership became in question. There were different parties at different times that owned it. And then in the mid-90s, it became a significant issue because it is called Hillcrest for a reason. It's built on the side of a hill, and there was slippage of the land. The creek at the base of the hill became problematic. There were graves, and keep in mind, a lot of the folks that are buried there were buried in wooden coffins. They were not in vaults, or they were in open vaults, and as the hill started to slide, erosion occurred, a lot of those graves opened up. It was brought to the township's attention on several occasions because of the graves that were there and because of the damage that had occurred. Since it was at that time a for-profit cemetery, we could not take it over. We could not engage in that way. So what happened is a group of folks got together, including one of our former trustees, Russ Jackson, and Bailey Turner, who was the Reverend at Union Baptist Church in the city of Cincinnati, and Dr. Tillman Bachnight, who was a dentist in the Cleveland area, and he was one of the Wauchucan soldiers. They got together and they formed the Coalition to Save Hillcrest Cemetery, which is a not-for-profit organization. The coalition worked with a number of entities, including the Ohio Army National Guard, did what was called at that time an innovative readiness training program at the cemetery, which involved support from the Anderson Township Trustees, the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners, Hamilton County Engineers Office, just on and on. We had local businesses and a lot of other agencies that came in. The National Guard came in and helped to restore the site. Our public works crews helped with the county engineers to pipe the creek to stop the slippage. And there were Boy Scout troops that came in and they filled out forms to acquire almost 200 headstones for veterans who did not have them. So our public works crews unloaded headstone after headstone, and the National Guard unit helped put those in, helped install those. So that was, at that time, the coalition. It was all done with private donations. At the time, Heather French was Miss America. Veterans Affairs were her calling, and she came to the cemetery. There was a fundraising effort with River Downs at the time, which is now Belterra, and raised about $25,000 to help. Local businesses supplied gravel and other things that were needed for the restoration effort, and got the cemetery in pretty good shape at that time. But the cemetery continued to be owned and maintained by the coalition in conjunction with Hamilton County Adult Probation, which, again, another one of our former trustees, Mike Walton, was with the Hamilton County court system, and he arranged for probationers to come out and cut the grass, which still happens to this very day. But as things happen during COVID, the probationers could not ride in a van with a Hamilton County supervisor, and anytime it rains or there's bad weather where they can't mow, we can't bring them back out on a Saturday or Sunday. They're only work certain hours during the day, so sometimes the grass gets behind. The coalition has made valiant efforts to continue to maintain that cemetery with Hamilton County Adult Probation. Colonel Todd Mayer, Don Bishop with the American Legion Post 318, Kelly Berg, who was with Duke Energy, and Duke came in and cut down 40, 50 massive trees during the emerald ash borer situation to try to maintain the cemetery. And I know I'm forgetting a lot of the key players because there have been so many people involved. Trustees, our current trustees have been involved, staff have been involved. It's just been a long, hard-fought battle, but donations are hard to get, and the coalition came to this board in January of 2022 and asked that the township take over Hillcrest. Now that it is a 501c3, there is statutory authority for the board to do that. This would be a situation where the township would take over ownership and maintenance of the cemetery. It would allow us to ensure when Hamilton County Adult Probation can't come out and cut the grass, we could bring in a contractor to do that, and we could make sure that the road is maintained, the driveways up there, which are currently not maintained very well. because of a lack of funds. Those are things that we could do. So, long story, but in light of the veterans that are buried there and all the volunteers that have done work over the years, I would recommend that the board accept this resolution and accept the cemetery.
Vicki, I appreciate the history there because while it may be long, it's very important, so
It is.
thank you for that. And with that, I move to adopt a resolution accepting transfer of portions of the Hillcrest African American Cemetery from the Coalition to Save Hillcrest Cemetery Incorporated.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that. That was very well said.
Sorry, my son's a
No, that's
veteran.
a-
Every time I get choked up.
No,
Sorry.
that was, and that was,
It was good to hear.
that was nice to hear the whole history of it too. That's,
And the partnerships that have been forged to make it possible for us to be able to be involved and help doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you, Vicki.
okay, back to you.
Okay, the next item is the 2023 Ethics Panel appointments. In 2013, representatives from each of the township's departments got together and we created our own ethics policy, which is above and beyond what the state requires to make sure that we're delivering the best service to our residents in an ethical, professional manner. And part of the policy that was adopted calls for an ethics panel that consists of township employees, again, from each department, and also our law director and I serve on that panel as well. This panel is in place so that when employees are faced with an ethical question and they wanted to bring it to somebody's attention, but they don't necessarily want to go to their supervisor, they want to get an answer, they have fellow employees that they can contact. And I will bring up things like, we just had it recently with gift cards. A lot of our event staff, they're great, people want to tip them. We're not a restaurant, we're a government, we can't accept the tips, so when somebody wanted to give a tip to one of our employees and she said, I can't take it, they came back with a gift card. Well, the State Ethics Commission, a gift card is the same as giving somebody cash. We cannot accept that. So that individual, came to a member of the ethics panel and said, what do I do? And ultimately what we did was mail the gift card back to the resident with a very lovely letter thanking them and said, your thanks is enough. We appreciate this, but we can't accept it. So for this year, we have a couple of folks that I would like to reappoint to the Ethics Committee if the board would consider the motion before you.
I move to appoint Eric Lugenbuehl, Public Works, and Sarah Donovan, Planning and Zoning, to the Anderson Township Ethics Panel for 2-year terms, beginning January 1st, 2023, and ending December 31st, 2025.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Yes. And we have just a couple of more items related to personnel. The first is a motion that would ratify the hiring of Micaiah Jackson. She is our new full-time event attendant lead. She began on Tuesday and would like to have the board consider this motion.
I move to ratify the Township Administrator's hiring of Micaiah Jackson for the event attendant lead position effective January 17th, 2023, with a starting pay of $18 per hour and all other benefits normally offered with full-time employment.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Thank you. And then there is one item arising from executive session discussion, and that is related to our Public Works Department clerical person.
I move to authorize changing the title of the Public Works Department Secretary to Administrative Assistant and adjusting the pay rate to $25 per hour effective January 20th, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Lawson?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Thank you. And the last item we have this evening is a request to return to executive session for a late-breaking item.
Yes. Our next regular, thank you all for coming. Our next regular board meeting will be here February 16th at 5 p.m. But at 5 PM, we go into executive session, so the public part will start at 5:30. But you can call the township number to confirm that, but right now that's when it's scheduled. And I move to adjourn the meeting.
Nope.
Move to executive
Oh,
session.
move to retire to executive session.
Second.
Mr. Girth? Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Did you
Mrs.
get
Stone?
Oh, do I have to
Yes.
read that whole thing? Okay, I move to retire to executive session to confer with the law director concerning disputes that are the subject of pending or imminent court action as permitted by Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G3.
Second.
Now, Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mrs. Austin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes. Now I move to
Hey, good job,
adjourn.
Dee. Good job.
Thank
You
you.
only screwed up like 3 times.
Where's Andrew?
Okay, did you notice we're in different seats tonight, people? Thank you, everyone.
Good to see you. Hi. You did great.
It's the first time since I've been here.